Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. My guest today is Natalya Borakowski, an NMD and owner of Desert Bloom Skincare, where she focuses on biostimulation and aging gracefully. She's also the founder of Unveil You. She started last year, helping women approach aging on their own terms, blending aesthetic medicine, psychology, and a truly global perspective. Welcome to the show, Natalya.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
You have a great backstory, and you do some really interesting and impactful stuff. Where would you like to start? Do you want to talk about coming to Phoenix?
I certainly can. So one thing about me, I do talk too much. So my husband always gets very frustrated, and it's wonderful to see that my person who I'm talking with is actually men. So that would be your job to get me back on track so I don't go into too many nitty-gritty details. So I can certainly talk about the way I arrived in the Valley. I've been in Scottsdale, Phoenix area since 1999. So I certainly seen the city grow, change, and I absolutely love it. I moved here initially from Soviet Russia, from Moscow. So that was a huge culture shock for me. And initially, I absolutely hated Scottsdale. I hated how small it was, how it didn't really have a lot of places to go, only one mall to shop at. So I felt very lost. I thought my life was ending. I will stay single forever because there was only one nightclub or a bar to go to. But slowly but surely, it really grew on me, like both physically. Of course, our valley grew. And now I love the desert. I love dry heat. I actually enjoy 120 degrees outside, believe it or not. I get really cold sitting indoors in AC, so I have to go outside and defrost. But the journey from being American and just being here and then having the privilege to be a woman entrepreneur, it's definitely mind-blowing. Something that I never envisioned myself going through when I was growing up. And having the privilege to do that, it's definitely takes immigrant to appreciate it. Okay.
Yes, I can relate on acclimating to the desert. I'm from Minnesota, and I can take the heat pretty well now myself. I'd be embarrassed if my friends from Minnesota saw me have to put a jacket on when it hits 60 degrees.
Well, 60 degrees definitely requires a jacket, some warm boots. That's the goal.
Yeah. So you started Desert Bloom Skincare before you got your doctorate. Is that right?
No, it's actually the other way around. So my whole journey into medicine and beauty specifically was not the most common, let's say. My childhood up background was in arts and music. So I played piano since I was 5. So when we immigrated here, I was 22 years old and I was a professional pianist. Once we arrived in Phoenix, I really couldn't find a place for myself to pursue that career because back then the Phoenix culture really didn't exist. I think we did have Phoenix Symphony, but it was really not performing that much and there was really no place for me to fit in there. So I, as any young people, tried many different professions and accidentally ended up at Macy's at cosmetics counter and then just fell in love with that. So just creating art and women's faces and getting that bright eyes aha moment of seeing her fall in love with her reflection, it's just something really shifted in me. So I've been chasing that sense of really trying to see what else I can do to boost the confidence, to give her that glow. And now myself, nearly 50, I still get more. And I still get more triggered by the whole industry, the whole psychology of women and our relationship with our reflection. And that sort of kind of fast forward to where the Unveil You fits in and why I developed the platform. My entire experience from my early 20s all the way up to now to really see how that dynamic, the psychological relationship with our reflection really gets impacted by really everything, the way we age, our hormones, obviously our society. Like right now, we're first generation of women that aging on camera. We're surrounded by lenses everywhere. So we constantly see our own reflections. So it's very difficult psychologically for women not to get affected by it. And that's what I see in aesthetic chair. And it's sometimes very heartbreaking.
Huh. Okay. So Unveil You sort of was created organically through your skincare practice.
Yes. That's sort of my little curiosity, nerdy brain, because I know you and I talk a little bit about our backgrounds. I did my undergrad at ASU in genetics and cell biology. So
Nice.
yes, I love genetics. I'm a big nerd. I spend hours in the microscope staring at cells. It's very fascinating to me. But it's also one thing with the researchers, we never stop asking question why. So it doesn't matter how many evidence you gather, there's always something new. So that's really what happened with my brain. When I start dealing with women, I start diving deeper into that psychological rabbit hole and keep asking, but why? Like, why do we do this? Because aesthetic procedures are extremely powerful. They give women instant confidence boost, but it's like sugar. It's very addicting and it's very short-lived. So the question becomes where do we draw the line? How do we help women to maintain the confidence without constantly relying on that outsourcing boost? So that's really the core of my idea in the Unveil You. And I'm still developing that. I'm still researching it and diving deeper into psychology and talking to psychiatrists, learning about both dopamine, serotonin, how that all influences us. And of course, that's a crazy, wild thing called perimenopause adds to the whole scenario because women go through hormonal withdrawal and that completely changes the way their brain functions.
For sure. And it's very much in your head. A lot of it, I just had a plastic surgeon on the podcast and we talked about some similar stuff. In fact, it reminds me of a book by Maxwell Maltz, I think, who was a physician, Psychocybernetics.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's how some people can have, it's the stories we tell ourselves about how we look, right? Is a big part of it. And so there's a lot of great psychology there. That's another, I guess, esthetician, right? Mind thinking about the psychology that this is all impacting. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit more about what sets you apart? I mean, you said you don't call Desert Bloom a med spa.
Yes. So I really hate the word med spa, to be honest with you. I really believe that a lot of med spas, and again, not trying to shame anyone or tell them that they do the business wrong, but many of those businesses set up sort of as a transactional business. And I always looked at skincare as a part of overall women's health. Even when I was still doing makeup, I was still seeing how psychologically that impacting women, how it changes her relationship with self. If I teach her how to take care of her skin, how everything else kind of falls into place. And
it is skin is the biggest organ, right? I mean, you talk about health. Yeah.
Yes. And the skin is not just the outer layer. It really responds to our hormones. It influences our hormones. It's a great detox organ as well. So neglecting that, it's kind of silly. And yet we're still looking at skincare as part of vanity, which is in a lot of cultures, like in Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Indian medicine, skincare, it's part of medicine. And it's really how it should be.
And
so that's it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to your point, it's been a little bit of a resurgence. People are starting to realize how important just sun on your skin is, right? I mean, too much is bad, and everybody's been hiding from it forever. And now people are realizing that you need it for vitamin D, for example.
Yes. And there is speaking of sun, there's such a thing called halotherapy. It's not just vitamin D. Vitamin D, it's a part of it, but overall, sun helps to stimulate melanin, which makes you tan. So too much of it obviously is bad. We can get sun damage, we can get skin cancer, but good exposure, we're talking about 10, 20 minutes every single day. It helps to boost antioxidant activity in our skin. So yes, you should be outside getting some sun. So everything is great in moderation. That's simply the easiest thing. And that's really what we're trying to sort of set ourselves apart from everyone else in the valley.
Okay.
It's a skincare clinic. We do put patient care first. And I when I have women come in and asking for a specific procedure, like as simple as, oh, I just want Botox, I try to have this conversation with them, and especially young women. I cannot even tell you how many of them I just say, no, don't do this. This is too early. This is too young. This is medication, and this is the indication why we use it. This is why we prescribe it. And often in medical spas, those procedures, they glamorize, they sold as something as makeup, like trying on lipstick or a mascara. They don't really seen as a medical procedures. And that's really why I have the problem with the whole industry.
And is your background then, you think, makes it easier for you to help people see that, I guess? I mean, it seems like it's an important point that maybe others find more challenging.
Yes. And then ultimately, you're absolutely right, Tim. Not everyone is going to see it. I mean, I've had women just angrily storm out of my office because I refuse to perform a procedure that I find would be harmful for their body. And I try to explain why this is either too much, or they're doing something in access, or it's just essentially not necessary or risky. And they want it anyway, and I know they're going to go to clinic next door and that they will get it, and it's their choice as an individual, as human. It's not my place to tell them they're doing something wrong, but it's also my ethical responsibility as a physician to at least deliver the message, and it's up to them to hear it or not.
Right. That's great that you care, right? And that's part of the Unveil You, right? Is where that's born from, is trying to help people at that next level and go deeper. Just great.
Yes.
And you have a testament to that, and your practice and yourself is the 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 patients that you have been with you for more than just coming in off the street to get an injection.
Yes. We are really privileged to have a very great loyal following, and it's so wonderful to really look back and to see myself age and them aging with me. I have some patients that started with me as teenagers with acne prone skin, and now they're moms with 2 kids, which is great. We've been our patients' weddings, we've been at their baby showers. It's wonderful to be part of that journey and to really see that woman to build her confidence, build her relationship with herself, with her skin, and then just embrace that overall self-care. As much as abuse that word self-care is, but it should be at the core of every woman.
Right. Excellent. Yes. And again, a testament to the community you've built and the services you provide. So that's great. What's been one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
The biggest challenge is it's really honestly me. I am a biggest challenge because I'm never happy with anything I do. I always overly criticize. And I do have that tendency of starting something exciting and great and then just dropping it, thinking it's completely stupid. So for that, I have a great husband who is a great believer in me. And also for being sort of a dreamer and creator, I am very frivolous in the way I invest my money. So when somebody will be asking me about business advice, my number one advice, make sure you have a great advisor and someone who knows how to put brakes on your craziness. So that's my husband. So fortunately, I have that.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. A lot of people entrepreneurs get excited and they often want to expand and grow and scale beyond, and get out over their skis and get into trouble.
Exactly. It's like you and I were just talk. Doctors do not come out of school with business degrees. And unfortunately, so many brilliant doctors go out of business opening private practice because they buy too much they can chew. The biggest challenge usually is you get sold by device salespeople because, of course, they promise you the world. You buy multiple expensive devices and all of a sudden you don't have a patient base to, pay payments for all those devices. You didn't even understand what's the interest you're paying for that device. So it's something I had to learn, fortunately, through just education, through my husband and a paper, not personally making those mistakes. But I've seen great doctors just closing doors after just a couple of years because they cannot pay off the devices they took.
Right. And doctors are a little off, not often, sometimes prone to being the know-it-all experts, right? They think they're the smartest person in the room, and they often are. It's particularly in their field of training, right?
Yes, yes, I know.
Yeah. So that's an issue that I have friends who've experienced that firsthand.
Oh, you absolutely nailed it. I mean, you're right. But think about it. In order to get accepted to medical school, you have to prove yourself as one of the
Hmm.
smartest kids in undergrad. And
Hmm.
then that kind of, personality trait does carry with you. And going through medical school residence is a very competitive environment. So yes, you have to set yourself apart. You have to believe that, yes, I am smart. I can make those great decisions. If you don't believe that you're the smartest person in the room, it's scary to make health decisions for another humans. Then it's
For
scary
sure.
to be a physician in the first place. But at the same time, it's very intelligent to understand your limitations and to know that
Right.
you're a terrible business person. And I've been a terrible business person for a long time and been in business for 17 years. I actually learned something from this. So I think I'm quite decent businesswoman now.
Yeah,
Not
excellent.
perfect.
But you're doing very well. That's awesome. What's one of the biggest lessons you've had in your industry?
The biggest lesson is to always try, the most important thing is to always know your numbers.
Okay.
And I do know a lot of my really great friends, practitioners who have no clue how much money they bring in monthly and how much they pay out. And when it comes at the end, they were really busy. They made a lot of sales, but then when it comes to money in the bank account, they really don't have that much because they
Right.
paid out too much to their employees. They, didn't realize that this other bill comes due and it's twice as more than they expected and so on. So something that, again, I'm very fortunate having my husband and he is great at balancing those books. But in my industry, it's certainly the biggest challenge because so many women, especially solopreneurs, they're completely oblivious what's happening with their books and their
Okay.
finances.
Okay. Which ties in with your earlier answer too, is having a good team
Exactly.
and CPA and bookkeeper and stuff. What are sort of your biggest goals maybe for 2026? Is it more Unveil You to grow that? Do you try and, yeah, go ahead.
Well, my number one goal and challenge is I'm writing a book. So
Ooh,
hopefully I will finish it like late spring, I believe, hopefully
okay.
May. So I'm all more than halfway done with a rough draft, but then I have to do a lot of more editing. And I think that's going to be a big rabbit hole to dive into.
Okay. Is that another passion project?
It is still relating to Unveil You. I call it
Okay.
emotional aesthetics, the story of aging, the science of beauty, and art of self trust. So it's sort of explaining, again, like merging the psychology, medicine, and cultural pressure and how that's affect the women, how we age, and how we perceive ourselves.
Okay. Okay. And is that um, been a bit of a framework for Unveil You?
It's sort of something that came later. It came from talking to one of my really good friends about the Unveil You ideas, because when I was developing the platform and writing all the courses for that, she was keep stopping me and saying, "You have to write about this. You have to write a book." So finally, those words kind of came in, and I'm like, okay, fine, I will write a book. And again, to be completely honest, it took a lot of self-talking into writing a book. The biggest challenge was because English is not my first language. So there's certainly huge imposter syndrome, just thinking, who am I to write in
Oh,
English? Like I don't even know if I'll be taken seriously. So finally, I just made that leap and figure out, hey, there's an editors for that. So if anything, they will
right.
put the right dots and commas and all that good stuff.
Okay. Excellent. That's exciting. Uh, Best of luck getting that out as soon as possible. You self-publishing that then?
Yes, self-publishing. Yes, it's
Okay.
very difficult to get to big publishing company when you virtually nobody.
Right. Right. There's different ways of doing it nowadays. I have friends who publish different books. Are you doing this? Is this an Amazon
Yeah,
style?
it
They
will be
print
on
it on
Amazon. Yeah,
demand and so forth?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of great stuff. How do you balance that in the role of entrepreneur and maybe in growing your business with also planning for the future and retirement?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's a definitely work in progress. And something that I've been juggling with of realizing the women are very fascinating creatures that have this concept of we call it emotional labor. Like we never really truly shut off our brain. Men are much better at doing this. And I do have that problem of hitting breaks. So often on vacations, I will still be working.
Right.
And last time I tried to take a staycation alone myself to relax, I relaxed on the clock, very scheduled and so intensely. So I came home and got sick. So it's still work in progress. I cannot say that I'm doing it perfectly, but at least I have a conscious realization of where my shortcomings are and why I'm always on and how to teach my brain to disengage.
Okay. Okay. So, if it's not affecting your health and you're happy, I imagine you're just a productive person.
Caffeine is a great drug, Tim.
Yes, it's a powerful one. So in terms of your practice, I mean, is that something, do you have partners? Are you looking to grow it? Are you looking to open up other locations at some point or sell it? What sort of thoughts do you have on growing that?
That's the great question. I mean, eventually we will sell it, but at this point, it's definitely not anywhere ready to be sold because in order to sell it, we have to have because right now, Does a Bloom, it's still uniquely me. So without me, the
Okay.
company doesn't exist. So at this point, it's really not a sellable company by any ways. But I'm working on training more employees. Will we open new locations? I'm not sure. It's still kind of like all up in the air. And right now, overall aesthetic industry, the spa industry is contracting. It's not just in Arizona, it's worldwide. And I've been talking about the contraction and the recession and kind of expecting that for the past couple of years. And this past year, in 25, we really truly saw how
Okay.
much less people getting those cosmetic procedures, which was kind of like expected. We all knew it's going to happen. As for overall Valley news, we recently had a really big chain medical spa closed down. I believe it was announced like end of December. They filed bankruptcy and closed down. So I think there will be a lot more medical spas going out of business. So it's certainly not the place to expand and grow. Maybe after when we get over the hump and we'll see what happens with the industry.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Any ways that you're looking to maybe grow and pivot to adapt as demand change?
Yeah, that's definitely an idea. The fact that I even start growing on Unveil You and kind of focusing more so on reaching online community than just
Okay.
relying on brick and mortar store. That doesn't mean I'm trying to abandon that, but essentially
Sure.
I just still want to grow different avenue and a different passion.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Do you have any big plans for 2026?
Well, big plan is, like I said, first finish the book, and then we'll see what happens
Okay.
afterwards. So it's stepping into a shoes of being an author. It's exciting.
Right, right. And is that also maybe gonna go, as you said, sort of help grow Unveil You? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of the
Definitely doing more speaking engagements. And I already did a lot of that in 2025. I traveled a lot internationally and just kind of went all over US. It was fascinating to explore big cities that I've never been, like Boston, Nashville. But at the same time, I traveled so much, I really feel I need to focus more so exploring our own valley. I used to do a lot of networking back when I first opened Desert
okay?
Bloom in 2007, 2008, and then just got so busy and kind of fall out of this. So I really feel like I want to reconnect with Phoenix and I really do more
Okay.
events here.
Awesome. That sounds great. So, Dr. Borkowski, if people would like to connect with you and learn more, where can they go? What should they do?
They can go to our Desert Bloom website, desertbloomskincare.com. So that's our brick and mortar clinic. We do offer free consultations if they want to just chat with me. We don't charge for that. They can find me on social media. I have my personal social media at Natalya Borakowski. There's also Unveil You .life social media channel. And of course, Unveil You .life website. That's the platform that we talked about, the inspirational psychological exploration platform.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Natalya Borakowski, for joining me today. Very much appreciate you sharing your insights into the industry here.
Thank you, Tim. That was great.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.